In a peaceful zoo, a family's happy day suddenly turns tense. They accidentally lose track of their daughter, and when they find her, she's facing a Bengal tiger. What happens next is incredibly surprising and will leave you amazed. The story begins on a warm summer morning when Calvin and Emily got ready for their daughter Mariah's first trip to the zoo. They had been looking forward to this day and packed everything they needed the night before. Mariah, just 3 years old, loved animals. She was always gentle with their family dog and loved feeding ducks at the park. When they arrived at the zoo, Mariah's eyes lit up with excitement. She saw tall giraffes, playful otters, and so many other animals. Each new sight made her clap her hands and wave from her stroller. Calvin and Emily shared happy smiles, enjoying every moment of their daughter's joy and curiosity. The trip went perfectly until they reached the Bengal tiger enclosure. Sleek, majestic tigers lounged and prowled in their vast habitat. Calvin's voice broke the calm as he pointed out the impressive animals to Emily. She was momentarily distracted, ordering ice cream cones from a nearby vendor, and nodded without really paying attention to Mariah. Emily didn't know that her small mistake would change her daughter's life in a way she never expected. But before we go into more depth, don't forget to subscribe. We are aiming for 1,000 plus likes on this video, so be sure to like it. Let's continue the story. Returning with the ice cream cones, Emily's heart dropped when she saw that Mariah was missing from her stroller. Panic surged through her, and her mind raced with terrible thoughts. "Calvin, where's Mariah?" she shouted, looking around frantically. The crowd bustled around them, unaware of their distress. As Calvin heard Emily's shout, his heart pounded, and he joined the search for Mariah, their earlier calm shattered by fear. They questioned nearby people and checked every corner, growing more desperate with each passing moment. What started as a joyful outing now felt like a terrifying nightmare unfolding before them. Amid the worried voices, Emily noticed a soft murmur. She walked closer and saw tourists gathered near the tiger enclosure, all looking inside with great interest. They stood so tightly packed that it was hard for Calvin and Emily to see through. They couldn't tell from afar if something was happening with Mariah, but it seemed important. They hoped to find their daughter among the crowd. Emily hurried to the glass wall, hoping to catch a glimpse of Mariah. The crowd made way for Emily, and there she saw Mariah standing on her legs, touching the glass. But Mariah wasn't alone. A huge Bengal tiger named Koshi had come close to the glass, mirroring Mariah's movements like a shadow. Mariah noticed and moved left and right, and astonishingly, the tiger followed her every step. Onlookers were amazed. Some even tried to mimic Mariah, but only she caught the tiger's attention. The massive cat focused solely on Mariah's movements. Emily was worried, but also fascinated by what was happening. Just as she reached out to Mariah, something magical occurred. Mariah touched the glass, and the tiger stopped moving. It sat up and stared intently at Mariah, never breaking eye contact. Everyone watched in silence. Emily wanted to protect her daughter, but she too stood in awe. The tiger closed its eyes and placed its paw on the glass, and Mariah gently rested her head against it. The spectators gasped in amazement. Mariah, Emily, and Calvin watched as the tiger bowed deeply and purred softly. Tourists took pictures, unsure of what to make of this moment. Eventually, Emily and Calvin gently led Mariah away, and the tiger made a sorrowful sound as they left. But as they walked away, enjoying their ice cream, Mariah couldn't resist waving at the animals once more. The sun shone brightly, making it a delightful day. However, Calvin's joy turned to unease as he sensed they were being watched. When he shared his concerns with Emily, she dismissed it as possibly just a curious onlooker or a park vendor. Despite her reassurance, Calvin couldn't shake off the feeling. He noticed a man in the crowd, holding newspapers, but staring intently at their family. Calvin pointed him out to Emily, who initially brushed it off. Deciding to test his suspicions, Calvin suggested they keep walking to see if the man would follow. As they strolled, they returned to the enclosure where Koshi the Bengal tiger resided. Mariah, eager as ever, got out of her stroller and went straight to the glass. She stood before the sleeping tiger, and as soon as she touched the glass, something remarkable happened once again. The tiger woke abruptly from its nap and hurried over to Mariah, showing a keen interest in her. It seemed the tiger remembered her from before, eager to interact with her again. It bowed before her, emitting soft purring sounds, clearly delighted by her presence. Meanwhile, the mysterious man reappeared, now approaching them with purpose. Calvin's suspicion grew as he confronted the man, demanding to know why he had been following them. It was then that the man revealed himself as William Wood, the zoo owner. Calvin and Emily were initially shocked by today's unexpected events. First, Maria's incident, and now a meeting with the zoo owner. However, as William shared his story, it added a new layer of intrigue to the unfolding scene. Koshi, the Bengal tiger, wasn't just any tiger. She was rescued from brutal poachers in Nepal. When the forest ranger caught the poachers, they saved her and brought her to the zoo. Koshi came months ago, sad and lonely. Even though the zookeepers tried to make her friends with other tigers, Koshi stayed alone, avoiding people. The keepers did everything for her, but she stayed sad and quiet. Today, when William saw Koshi with Mariah, something changed. He felt hopeful. Maybe Koshi could be happy again, like before. Maybe she could come back to life at the zoo. Calvin and Emily looked at the man with puzzled expressions. The way their daughter connected with the tiger amazed them. Then, the zoo owner made a surprising suggestion. He wanted Mariah to visit Koshi every week. He believed her company would lift Koshi's spirits. Calvin and Emily exchanged unsure glances, but eventually agreed. A week later, they returned to the zoo with Mariah in tow. Everyone wondered, would Koshi remember Mariah or forget her? As they neared Koshi's enclosure, anticipation filled the air. The moment they reunited, it was magical, just like the first time they witnessed their bond. For several months, Mariah kept visiting the zoo regularly. Each time she went, she spent hours playing with Koshi and the other tigers. One day, something amazing happened. After months of visiting, Mariah finally started speaking in full sentences. She looked at her parents with a big smile after playing with Koshi. "Daddy, Mommy," she said, holding their hands. "When I grow up, I want to be a zookeeper. I want to care for animals like Koshi to ensure they find happiness." It was a beautiful and heartwarming moment that moved Mariah's parents and the zookeepers to tears. Mariah became known as the Tiger Whisperer at the zoo because of her special connection with Koshi. Since they first met when she was very young, Mariah has learned the importance of being kind and caring to animals. These magnificent creatures add so much to the diversity and beauty of our planet. So, what are your thoughts about this heart-touching story? Share your opinions in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on our new animal stories. Your support means the world to us.